Alessio's new cocaine addiction. Cocaine addiction. Cocaine addiction. Cocaine addiction. Hello, everybody, and welcome to that WCCF Tech Show. We've got the usual suspects in again: serial killer and no face, because he still will not show his face.
Yeah.
One day, you've got to do it at least once.
One day.
One day. So, how are we both doing?
We're doing fine, I think.
So. Fine, yeah.
You both seem so reluctant to answer that question. Yeah, we're fine.
No,
we're fine. Honest, we're fine.
No, because I didn't understand it at first. I'm still waking up. My brain's still waking up.
Bastard.
Well, at least Sundays.
Yeah, true. We do record on a Sunday. It's not normal. Even though it's later where you are than it is for me.
Yeah, but I can at least sleep late on Sundays. At least.
Bloody Europeans and all your freedom of movement and waking up. Yeah. We'll not talk about that. What we will talk about is video games. And the simple topics today are Tokyo Game Show, and we're going to mix Konami in with that. We're going to talk about Sony acquiring a studio, because there's not a week goes by where somebody doesn't acquire somebody. And then we're going to talk about Alessio's new cocaine addiction, or New World addiction, one of the two. And I'm sure Alessio will talk quite a lot about that and the fact that he can't get in because the servers aren't all full.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Tokyo Game Show. Go on, you can start with this if you want, Francesco, since we know Alessio wants to talk about New World.
He's going to talk about that, yeah. Well, there hasn't been a lot of announcements, mostly because Tokyo Game Show is usually geared towards the Japanese market. But we did get some stuff. I think we saw what's going to be the game of the year for the next year. The Strangers in Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. It's going to be so bad, it's going to be so good because of that.
No, that weird trailer thing.
It's going to be so ridiculous, really.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it plays well. Well, it has a lot of performance issues right now, but it's still far away from release. It launches in February, so there's still some time to fix it. But it's so bad. The story, everything. The guy that just says bullshit to the usual JRPG bullshit. We're trapped in a dream. Bullshit. That's going to be so.
It's got a sense of humor.
Yeah, I think they're doubling down on that, all that chaos meme that came out. They aren't trying to change that. They're actually going forward with that. So yeah, no one is going to take that game seriously for the story, but I think it's going to play very, very well. I'm liking it so far. I'm playing the demo. I played like 3-4 times already, and I think it's going to surprise a lot of people if they can look past the ridiculousness of everything, like these 4 normal guys into the dark fantasy world.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be.
I'm looking forward to it. You know how much of a Final Fantasy fan I am anyway, so yeah. So I'll play it because it's got the Final Fantasy name. If you gave me a rusty nail and it had Final Fantasy wrote on it, I'd play the bloody thing.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people that played Neo or Team Ninja games are going to like it too, because it feels a lot like Neo. Not quite like Neo, but it feels a lot like it. Same speed, same kind of similar mechanics. So I think both type of fans will find something to like.
Yeah.
If they fix the small issues that are here, but it's still too early to say. It's going to run like shit on consoles. We don't know yet. It's too early.
We'll see. You can never really have an idea of that, and it probably won't if they'll cater it towards the next gen consoles.
Yeah, they're still far from release.
I mean, I played the first demo and was underwhelmed. I played the new demo. Honestly, I didn't find it much improved. I mean, the graphics still sucks. Even in performance mode, there are still many performance issues. It's far from flawless.
Hmm.
I mean, sure, there are a few months yet before release, but not that many either. It's just 5 months now. So I don't know. I'm way less way less positive that it will be nearly as good as Neo. I think
Well,
Neo.
the first. I remember the first demos for both Neo and the second. They had performance issues too, if I remember right. Maybe not as heavy as this one, but they had that. But they had them too. They're probably going to do optimization very, very, very near the end of development.
Yeah, you usually
Well,
find that. Yeah.
well, as far as I'm concerned, as long as it runs okay on PC, I'm fine. It should run okay on PC. Although
With
it's Team Ninja, so we don't know. Their PC ports are hit and
Yeah,
miss,
there is that.
so we don't know. I hope it will get better because I think it has a lot of potential. As a strictly speaking about the gameplay, everything else it remains to be seen.
Yeah, true. It's one of those things. We'll wait and see. There's time. There's time. And who knows, it could get delayed before then.
Yeah, not like it's not happening every day now.
Exactly. So there's always time on that front. I mean, the only other thing, like, it was mentioned that Capcom... Is it Capcom? They want to make PC their main format thing now? Platform?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, that's unusual. That is unusual. At least I think it is. Mainly because they usually fuck over the PC.
They should start with bringing all of their optimization patches to PC. For example, Devil May Cry as the next gen version, but PC doesn't have the same features.
Yeah.
And they're not bringing them over for some reason. For example, on PS5 and Xbox, we have ray tracing as options, and PC doesn't have it. But of course, it makes no sense because PC is potentially much more powerful in that regard. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, hopefully, maybe in time they will get there. But right now, I think it's more of an idea, a concept, but it's far from the reality.
Yeah, that's the only other thing I really noticed when I was looking at it. I'm thinking, it doesn't sound sensible for Capcom because they usually just shaft the PC. I mean, they usually shaft everybody, but still.
But the good news is that they announced the release date for Monster Hunter Rise on PC.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, yeah, I'm forgetting. They've got some decent games.
It's coming in January, and then it will have, the usual ultra-wide support to make Chris happy, and uncapped frame rates, IRS textures, and they also revealed an expansion that's coming to both PC and Switch in the summer, next summer. So yeah, that was one of the other news coming out of TGS, and then there were, I'd say, a few minor news, about other titles, new gameplay from Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Yeah.
And
The Good Life as well, wasn't there? A bit of news on The Good Life? Was it?
Yeah, The Good Life is coming out very soon, actually. And
I'm looking forward to that as well.
It will be on Game Pass, which is certainly good for...
Will it be on Game Pass for the PC, though? Because nobody ever knows the difference. Like, there's Game Pass console and Game Pass PC.
Well, that's a good point, but I think most of the latest editions have been on both platforms. I'm not sure about The Good Life yet, but we'll see soon because the game is out in a couple of weeks. Less. It's and then we also had a new Gungrave game, which has
Gungrave, yeah.
Basically it has the former developer that was working on Ghostwire Tokyo, the one that presented the game at E3. I think it was 2019, and then she she moved on from the studio, and now she's involved with this Gun Grave sequel.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, fair enough.
And also, Tango Gameworks is developing a new game, which is likely to be The Evil Within 3, possibly. And since they are now part of Xbox as well of Bethesda, it will probably be an exclusive, maybe.
Well, yeah, everything that's Bethesda's probably going to be exclusive from now on, and it just makes sense business wise, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can't fault them for that.
And there was another tidbit of news from Bethesda, actually, from Todd Howard. And basically, they are localizing Starfield for Japan, and of course, that was a good piece of news. But they also revealed that the game will have 100, actually 100,500 lines of dialogue. So
yeah.
that's a lot more than Fallout 4 and Sky. It's almost as much as Fallout 4 and Skyrim combined. So,
and it's even more than Fallout 76, which had like 5. So it's going to have NPCs. At least we've got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said it's over 300 actors. So it's
and yet they still haven't come to me. Set of bastards. Oh dear. They're missing out. They're missing out on the proper Yorkshire voice. Or they could get Sean Bean back. They could get Sean Bean back, who did Martin Septim in Oblivion.
Yeah. That's
cheaper version, though. The cheaper version don't cost as much.
Exactly.
I think you don't cost as much.
Well, you never know.
I mean,
I don't want to die in it.
Right. Spoiler man.
So we've got those. Now the other thing is Konami. Even though it's not really TGS news, Konami have been, well, they're Japanese. Konami actually look like they may be actually doing something. It's weird. Well, there's rumors about Hideo Kojima working on Silent Hill with the Sony funded, isn't there? Which I said before, I still say it makes sense for Konami to have somebody who actually can make a game.
Yeah.
But then they're probably going to be farming out. Well, that's the idea. They're going to be farming out Metal Gear, Castlevania, and everything else now again, aren't they?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think that Kojima rumor is true. I don't see it. I don't know. I was just reading other insiders saying that it is not real, that's not true. I don't know. I think it would make more sense for Konami to get Hideo Kojima back on Metal Gear first before doing Silent Hill. I don't think people are going to buy a Metal Gear game without the name Kojima. We saw Metal Gear Survive. It's a horrible game.
And I think people didn't buy that because it was an absolute crock of shit, though.
Yeah, it was a bad game and it didn't have the Kojima name.
Yeah,
I think it would make more sense to have
that, and it wasn't actually a Metal Gear game.
Yeah, it wasn't. It just had the name, and that was that. I think it would make more sense, especially if they're really remaking Metal Gear Solid 3. People are wary because Konami has disappeared, and what they made hasn't been received well. Like eFootball, it's just been destroyed. So I don't know if they really have to make that step. I think it would make more sense to make it for Metal Gear first before going with Silent Hill.
I think
it would make more sense to get back the original team for Silent Hill before.
I don't think they'll ever get. Yeah,
Sorry?
I think it's just a weird one. I don't think Hideo Kojima will ever go back to Konami or like work with them directly. The reason why I think, because Silent Hill has always been very much like a Sony property as well. It makes sense to me that if Sony want a good horror game on the platform, then and they want to fund the game, but funding a Metal Gear game is going to be, 3-4 times as much as a good Silent Hill game?
Yeah,
and
probably.
also, part of the work's already been done, and I imagine the code of Silent Hills will be made available, the PT demo.
Yeah.
So I think if they've already got some work there, and I can just imagine Kojima wanting to work with Walking Dead Daryl again.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Kojima is also rumored to be doing a game with Microsoft, right? With Xbox via the cloud. So we had the rumor at least. So I don't know how many games can they be working on. I
It's
mean, I don't
Kojima.
think
He's got nanobots and midichlorians and Metal Gears. Fuck knows.
Nano machines.
Nani?
oh, but,
Metal Gear in
I mean,
fake
Yeah.
it's
arms and shit.
also
Well,
worrying.
there are 3 games that are rumored to be in the works. I don't think they're doing all 3. Like the actor for Death Stranding, Norman Reedus, said they're doing. He practically said they're doing Death Stranding 2. It can't be all 3 of them. There's no way.
Yeah,
It's a weird one. It can be, but it depends if what stages they're in. If let's say they're part way through making one game, you come to that stage. You've got the pre-production team working on another at the same time, haven't you? So it's one of those things. That's usually the flow in the studio.
Yeah, but I don't know because I don't remember how big Kojima Productions is, but Kojima took how many years for Metal Gear Solid 5?
Yeah,
I don't
true.
know. I don't know. 3 games seems a lot.
yeah, a lot of time.
Yeah, too much.
Oh
Too
yeah,
much, I think.
we'll probably be dead by the time they release, but
Yeah.
Also, they have. I mean, Konami has officially partnered with Bloober Team, right? So they haven't said they are doing Silent Hill, but that was the assumption since Bloober Team does horror games. So
yeah,
Yeah.
what are they partnering on otherwise? So
it just
it
depends.
will be weird.
Yeah.
And also we have the new Castlevania game, but the rumor is that they are doing it internally at Konami, but that doesn't make me very confident about
No.
the game's
Honestly,
quality.
if anything, I would have got Mercury Stream back on it.
Yeah, they did an okay job. It's still not Iga, but they did an okay job.
Yeah, but you're not going to get the originals back, are you?
No, they're not coming back. No, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I really loved the voice actor they chose for the trilogy, and Robert Carlyle was very charismatic. I think
I like
Dracula.
Robert Carlyle. I've always
Yeah.
liked Robert Carlyle. Stargate Universe.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So that was a good choice. We'll see. And
I do think that Konami will be farming them. I don't think they'll make them internally because they've got rid of their AAA studios, sadly. And that's been one of the major issues. They may hire some people in, they may do another game, but they've only really got the PES team left, which, eFootball.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, what the other rumor was that they're doing a competition for indie developers to work on their IPs, isn't it? Or is that confirmed?
I don't think so. The only rumor I remember is the one about they're doing multiple Silent Hill games, and one of those was one of the teams developing the games was Bluebird team. They're probably just giving, like you said, they're probably giving the property away to who they think can handle it. Pretty much, we're going to get a lot of spin-offs, I suppose.
Yeah, I've just did a quick search, and it was a rumor that I've heard that Konami have invited indie developers to create new games based on classic series, things like Gradius, Goemon, and things like that. So not like your Metal
very
Gears.
classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, very classic.
Well, it's something, I
Konami,
suppose.
Konami remembers that it made game once. It's something already.
Yeah.
Pachinko.
Yeah, it's not just pachinko and gyms and whatever else they do. Yeah, they have a lot of gyms in Japan. Konami gyms.
Yeah.
Become buff like Solid Snake. Become like him.
Okay.
So, yeah, well, we'll see. God, I just don't see much coming of it. It's Konami. They've shit the bed far too much. But
yeah,
I hope another good Metal Gear gets made. I hope a good Castle. I hope good games get made. I'm not one of these who doesn't want the good games to be made. So yeah, it's But moving on to, well, we've mentioned Sony possibly working on Silent Hill is the rumor, but Sony, what we know Sony have done, they've bought another studio. They bought Bluepoint, and again, it makes sense to me. It makes perfect sense. They made the Demon's Souls remake. They made a really good remake, and now they're working on a new game. And who knows? Do we think it's going to be a Souls-like?
They'd also made the Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, Gravity Rush Remastered, and Shadow of the Colossus, the PS4 remake. So it's
they did the Metal Gear Solid remasters too, if I remember right. The PS3 and Xbox 360 one.
Yeah,
I think. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not completely sure.
They've really, for the past I think 12 or 13 years, they've really only made ports and collections and remakes. So it will be interesting to see how they cope with working on an original game.
It is. It's always a weird one getting a remake studio into and making new IPs. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I
was reading a crazy rumor that they said they were going to make a sequel to Demon Souls. I don't buy it because it's not there, but they may be doing something close to it. So Souls-like.
I mean, Sony could buy the IP from software if they wanted to, probably, but I don't.
It doesn't make much sense.
See, I'm not sure. I believe Demon's Souls is a Sony IP.
Yeah, because it was developed together with Sony Japan Studios, so it's probably theirs.
I believe Demon's Souls is the Sony IP, and that's why obviously, because Bandai Namco published it in Europe, obviously, because Sony didn't want to publish it outside of Japan. So they made a deal to do that in that situation, but that's why when they made another game, they had to make Dark Souls rather than Demon's Souls 2 or something along those lines. I'm fairly sure Demon's Souls is a Sony IP.
Yeah.
I'm not, well, I say I'm fairly sure. We'll say 90%. I could be wrong still.
Yeah.
It was exclusive, so anyway. They could have made it for other platforms, but they did not. It's probably the reason. It's exclusive.
Yeah, so they could be making, but at the same time, this announcement said it's an original title, so it shouldn't be the Demon Souls sequels.
Yeah.
Crazy rumors.
So, Demon's Souls and Bloodborne are both Sony-owned IPs.
Yeah.
I have to wonder why don't From Software just make a game and keep the IP? Surely it's more valuable than farming out the IP to letting the others have the IP.
You mean like to Bandai Namco with Elden Ring, etc.?
Well, Dark Souls, Dark Souls to Bandai Namco, they own that IP. I assume. Well, I know Sony owned the Bloodborne IP. I assume Activision Blizzard owns the Sekiro IP, and then, like you say, Elden Ring. So it seems, I don't know. I would have thought that From Software would now be rolling in enough cash that they can just keep the IP.
It doesn't seem like.
I think it has probably to do with publishing worldwide that they have issues. They just have that studio in Japan, and that's it. As far as I know, they don't have any other studio other than the main one.
Oh no, I understand that. I meant more like
But
they own the IP rights, and they just get, instead of taking more money from the Sony or Activision or from or Bandai, they just take a smaller amount of money, keep the rights, and just have Bandai Namco or whoever distribute.
Yeah, well, for Demon Souls, it probably was because they weren't that well known back then.
Back then,
they had King's Field that was very niche in the West, and Armored Core. That's pretty much all they had back then.
Actually, thinking about it now, it's right, because once Demon Souls they couldn't, then Dark Souls they still weren't big enough. I suppose it's after Dark Souls 3 when they went to Activision for Sekiro and now for Elden Ring. It's like, yeah, maybe, but I suppose if the money that you get offered's enough, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think maybe there is another studio, Japanese studio of a similar size. I'm referring to Platinum Games, and they are just now venturing into self-publishing. But that's also because they received an investment from Tencent. So maybe if From Software wants to do the same, they will probably have to get an investment as well from either Tencent or NetEase or whatever.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know what their bank balance is like. I honestly would have thought they've made hundreds of millions now from the Souls games and everything else.
I don't know.
Yeah, so
they probably don't have the knowledge to publish other than just the money. So they're probably trying to let's go with someone that knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
and just
limits your risks.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know what Bluepoint's going to work on, but none of us really know. If it could be a completely brand new IP, or they could remake Gex Enter the Gecko. Even though that wasn't Sony.
Yeah.
Anyway, actually,
I know you're begging to talk about New World.
Yeah, but actually, there is a big one that we missed in the prep, which is talking briefly about the latest Switch 4 Pro, 4K Pro. Rumor. Because Bloomberg came out again saying that I think over 11 developers already have the dev kits for it, but Nintendo this time actually came out with the statement saying it's not true. But
it's true.
Are they saying that everyone is lying? All of these developers are lying to Bloomberg? I don't know.
But the fact is that Nintendo will now be pissed off at those developers.
Yeah, they need there's still the OLED to come out. Yeah.
The companies lied. They always have lied, and they always will lie because they want control when things get announced, even though it doesn't really matter. I've known situations where there's been a leak and things have been announced, and then they'll outright deny things, and then 2-3 days later it'll get announced it's like, we're announcing now. Everybody knew. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. But they've just wanted to keep investors.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's
that's the only reason. The OLED Switch is coming out.
I think
this week, and they just don't want it to undermine this launch with.
They don't want this news to steal the limelight from the OLED model. So
I have to think as well, if it's true that there's only 11 dev kits or something sent out, it's still in early stages. Because usually you get a dev kit a good year before something gets really, consumers start looking at it.
Yeah, but they were rumored to be out for a very long time, these dev kits. So it's probably more than they just received. It's probably
it's
more than a few months.
Probably 11 was just the number that Bloomberg was able to confirm, but there could be more, of course.
Who knows? So go on then, Alessio. Talk about your new world.
Well, it's complicated. I mean, it's been successful, I'd say, when it comes to player figures and early sales. Um, they confirmed it. They had already, just in the first day of operation, more than 1 million players. And as you can see on Steam DB, it's constantly tracking at the very high end of the player picks, and actually they are registering new concurrent player picks every day. I think yesterday they broke 800,000 players, concurrent players. So those are pretty big numbers. Though of course there is the issue of server capacity, because compared to other games like World of Warcraft, New World servers are much smaller. Currently, their capacity is about 2,000 players, which isn't a lot really.
It's a weird one because I remember playing the beta, and well, because I went down to London to play it at one point. I suppose 2,000 doesn't seem a lot, but remembering the fact that you've got to your own territory and things like that, it's limited space, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it is, and of course there is a concern with the game balance, because even if you could put 10,000 players in a server without lagging, they could basically ruin the questing experience. Even the gathering of resources, because that is not shared. So you you could have issues finding wood and herbs, stuff like that, because it would be like locusts, just
Sorry,
taking everything. Yeah.
picking the
So
land dry.
I think it is a wise choice to keep it low, and maybe they are looking to increase the server capacity later. I think the main issue is that, as they've said, I think to PC Gamer, basically their predictions when it comes to pre-orders were very much off. That is to say, they didn't expect this level of interest from the day one.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
basically, they had a lot more players than they anticipated on day one, and obviously they eventually added many more servers. They have been adding more servers every day
Yeah, but
since
you're still
launch.
getting queues, aren't you?
Yes, because of course, ultimately it is about players wanting to move to another server. Because,
Okay.
for example, I play in the Italian community, and the Italian community ahead of launch only had one designated server. Okay, that's the one called the Jotunheim. And the thing is, basically, Amazon added another server right on day one, but they didn't say it, beforehand to the community, which meant that every guild wanted to be on Jotunheim, which is the only server that we knew of before launch.
Hmm.
So basically, everyone created their characters there and then started leveling there, and then basically no one wanted to move, especially the bigger guilds, which started to conquer territories.
Yeah.
So that's the issue. I mean, for example, even me, or many other players, we are now stuck to the server, because we'd have to basically delete our character if we had to be in another. Basically, servers are like lumped together in word sets. So, for example, all German server, all Italian server have their own word set, and you can't have more than one character per word set.
I think that's flawed by Amazon for not letting you move your character, knowing the issues from the start, though.
Yeah, that is another thing they've mentioned, and obviously they are working on it. They said it's coming. It should be coming in a few days.
And
This
then as soon
upcoming
as
week.
it comes, there's going to be an empty server. Everybody will move their big high characters over, and one guild will essentially conquer the world.
Yeah, I mean those are like the usual MMORPG launch issues, but I'd say other than that, it went pretty smoothly because when you are in the game, the performance is good, and there are very little bugs so far, so that is good. So I'd say most people in my guild as well are having a pleasant experience. They're having fun when they can play, of course. And I think the game has a lot of potential. It does have quite a few shortcomings. For example, the enemy variety isn't great, and the quests aren't great, and because of course they have been added to the game in the late part of development. It was meant to be, as you know, mainly PvP.
Yeah, it's
But
one of the things we discussed a lot about the fact that there's going to be very little to do if they kept as they were originally going to.
yeah, they added quite a lot of PvE content in the last year with all of the delays, but obviously it's still not as good as something like I don't know, Elder Scrolls Online or even Star Wars: The Old Republic, which have entire storylines fully voiced and even with like dialogue choices.
I may have to try and plug myself for code.
But the combat is good, the crafting is good, and there are quite a few interesting ideas. We have, like you said, territory wars, and we have like invasions from PvE mobs that you need to defend towns basically against the corrupted.
So
So
what
I'd
you're saying
say
is that you don't like the game.
no. I'm saying it's a pretty good game, but as most MMORPGs at launch, it is only like it has a lot of room to grow, but of course.
I think the only thing I can't really fathom is, well, Amazon having server issues. That's just considering they own like every single server in the world. Just and it's Amazon Web Services, so just
Yeah, but like I said, it's not like they had server issues per se. They had issues with determining the player numbers. So that, let's say if they rolled out, I think twice as many servers on day one, it would be a lot less important in terms of queues and the like. So
it's one of those things. I think they really did underestimate it if they only thought 2,000 people were going to come from Italy.
yeah, and now we have 4 servers just for Italy. But
And you're still getting queues. No,
well,
I know what the reason is. I know. I'm taking the piss.
On the main server we are, but the newest 2 servers don't have queues. So we're probably going to move there. But
I think
hopefully
they need to make character movement between servers possible, if only for a limited time period, for about a week.
Yeah, no, but we are all looking forward to this, and just hopefully we won't end up in a server without a good balance between the factions, because that could make PvP a problem. But I think it's going to be, with the early success in terms of sales. We also had Jeff Bezos commenting on the launch, saying that the games division persisted. Through the failures of Breakaway and Crucible. but they have now succeeded.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's a good seeding for the future of both New World and Amazon Games as a whole, because they are investing a lot. They have announced new studios, and they are publishing Lost Ark. They are publishing a new game from a newly established UK studio. So I think this is possibly the start for Amazon in gaming, and finally a good start.
I think this sort of proves the point that I kept making when it came to Google. I mean, what is Amazon's thing? Luna, is it? Their cloud thing. So this sort of puts Luna in a bit of good stead that Amazon are willing to persist through initial issues. Whereas Google launched Stadia, and within about 12 minutes of it not selling 500 billion copies, they've shut everything down practically. So, and this just goes to prove to Google that they massively fucked up by not, using their billions and persisting for more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, they just said to look at Microsoft, because Microsoft has been in the industry for many years now.
Oh, yeah.
And they still, of course, they still have a way to go to get to the top,
I don't think it's ever going to be a case of Microsoft will get to the top, because I don't think that's possible, because there's too much stiff competition, and with the console market it is too divided. You've always got Nintendo, which do their own thing, and then Sony's always going to be a big competitor. But in this situation with Amazon, and I don't think any company will get to the top in that sense, because, well, they all work concurrently. They work concurrently, or they work separate from each other. With Amazon, it's just a point of proving that persistence, and if you've got the financial backing to be able to be persistent, then you will eventually be successful. And Google had that opportunity, and I don't think people will trust them if they decide to come back to the market now.
Yeah, that was really awkward, because they established the internal studios, and only, I think, less than 2 years later, which is not nearly enough time to make a game, and they shut them down, which is ridiculous, honestly. I mean,
and now Stadia's dead. It was dead on arrival, but yeah.
I mean, the service itself isn't bad. I mean, for example, I'm playing a bit of FIFA 22 via Stadia, and it's pretty good. It works, but it needed the exclusives, because a platform isn't much without original content these days. So,
and I think that's going to be the issue when Luna rolls out. It's going to demolish Stadia simply because, well, New World and whatever else that Amazon decide to push forward. And to be fair, it's not even going to be sort of exclusives. It's just going to be the fact that Amazon have got a presence, and they've got a 1 million strong already presence in the New World community, and that's going to grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
interesting
hopefully.
Question.
Yeah.
Do you think that the growth of New World and how rapid it's been is partly due to the fact that World of Warcraft, well, Activision Blizzard has alienated so many people? Do you think people might be looking for a new MMO now?
I mean, people have been looking for a new MMO for a good long while now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been basically 7 years and a half since we got the last AAA MMO from a Western developer, and that was, of course, Elder Scrolls Online. And since then, we only had indie games from Western developers, and of course, the Asian games, which, however, aren't as much as popular here. So there was a lot of thirst for New World and for a AAA game made for a Western audience. So, and of course, the World of Warcraft issues certainly have contributed, but I'd say even without those, I mean, the game is 16 years old at this point. So
older, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it will be 17 in November. That's when it launched. It was 2000. It was 24, 20. Yeah. So a lot of people were looking for a new game, and New World certainly has a bit of that high-end graphics and also action combat. You actually have to target with your bow or with your rifle, and actually, if you hit with an headshot, you get a critical strike. So it doesn't make a difference. So it is, more advanced than something like World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, of course, they have to make a lot of content. These games are only as good as their post-launch support, ultimately. So,
yeah,
we'll have to see how much they can add to the game and how quickly.
Fair enough. Well, I think we know what you've been playing for the final question. Barbie's Playhouse Adventures. So how about you, Francesco? What have you been playing?
Well, like I said, I was playing the Final Fantasy Origin demo, and then I started my journey into the Yakuza series. I bought Yakuza 0. I haven't played much of it, just a couple hours, but I'm hooked. Really, people say
Good
that
man.
it's the best game. Yeah, they say that it's the best game in the series, and I can understand why. I'm really liking it. So we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to play all 6 or 7
you
of
need
them.
to. You need to. A friend of mine.
Probably over time. I will. I've read everywhere that Yakuza 3 is terrible. So I'm kind of dreading that moment.
Yakuza 3 was the one I started on.
I think they said the combat is bad. Enemies block all the attacks all the time. So I don't know. Yeah, it's the common opinion, but I'm still far from it anyway.
Yeah,
I have to go through 3 games. So
a friend of mine who works obviously in the industry, we talk quite a bit, and he started with the Yakuza games, and he's worked through every single one, start to finish, taking a quick break between finishing one and starting another, just to give you that bit of a breather. And he's on to 6 now, so he's gone from 0 to 6.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll do, because otherwise I'm probably going to. Yeah, it's going to burn out if I start playing them one after the other.
Yeah,
and it's going to take me over a year. It's probably going to take me over a year to go through all of them.
It'll take you longer than that.
Or probably longer.
If you're anything like me, who likes to explore Kamurocho every single square inch of the bloody thing.
Yeah, the mini games. You can't do without the mini games.
Exactly.
Really. So yeah, I've been enjoying it, and I'll probably keep on going through the series.
Are you going to do that, Alessio? Play all the Yakuza games?
I don't know. I think I played some of them, but not to the end. And I don't know. It's just not much of my jam, possibly. But
I adore them.
Maybe I'll try Judgment if it ever comes to PC.
You're not going to play it then, are you?
It's probably not coming.
You're definitely not going to play it then.
Yeah.
I do love the Yakuza games, though. I've been a massive fan for God knows a decade or plus. What am I playing? Been playing Diablo 2 Resurrection, remastered, reforged, whichever slogan it's got nowadays. Yeah, it's good. The review for that will be out before this goes live, or when it goes live, or after. I don't know. I'm writing the review, so yeah. And Alessio's just said EA's been late in giving things, so Alessio's sent me the code for FIFA 22 to play. So looks like I'm gonna have some loot boxes to complain about. It's what I do.
Yeah. Okay. But on Diablo 2, you said that it's better than Warcraft 3 Reforged, right?
Yes. I still think that when I reviewed Warcraft 3 Reforged, I might have been too generous when I gave it 7.5. In fact, I was too generous. However, I still say I said a year after that I probably should have gave it like 6.5 because the base game, what it started with as Warcraft 3, was still a fantastic strategy game, still one of the best. Obviously, there were big issues after the fact. Diablo 2 Rebirth of Final Fantasy it's good. It's still got the great Diablo 2 core. It's still got everything that was great about that. And playing it on the PS5's weird because I should be playing it on the PC. It's a PC game. What did you do to me, Alessio? You just want me to turn the PS5 on. I don't know why.
It wasn't my choice, but yeah.
Fair enough. I'll let you off then. Even though I've started playing it after launch, and I've seen all the issues, I've still had a few issues with the net code, the connecting. So, unsurprisingly, the one thing that Blizzard worked on, the back end and the connection to Battle.net, is fucking up. Everything else is working perfect. So, yeah, Blizzard are still being shit. And other than that, I don't know what I'm playing. I don't know. I'm just playing whatever pops in, whatever I fancy it as a random thing every now and then. And I'm mostly watching Netflix. The main thing, Squid Game. I've seen all that now. Brilliant.
Really?
It's amazing. It really, well, I say amazing. It really is. It's a fantastic show. Have you not seen it?
No,
watch it now.
Yeah,
Turn off all the video games.
I have to complete my 10th rewatch of Breaking Bad. I have to watch it every year, so I have to complete that first.
I love Breaking Bad, but Squid Game really is good. It's only 10 episodes, so you can get through it.
I'll check it out.
It really is amazing. It's so good. And yeah, that's about it. Squid Game.
Mm-hmm.
They need to make a video game based on it somehow.
Yeah, they probably will. Netflix. Netflix has development studios. So
actually, you're probably right there.
Yeah, they probably will.
Yeah. They bought the developers of Oxenfree, which is interesting. But
very narrative-driven games then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, that's it from me. Don't know if anybody else anything to add before we go.
No. I'm okay.
Right. Well, in that situation, that case, words. Watch Squid Game. And yeah, that's my final thing. Watch Squid Game, and yeah, see you all later.